algebra students. Today we're going to continue our exploration of exponents, and in this case they're going to be a little bit different. There's another shortcut, but you've got to stop and think about what it is that's going on. So let's take a look at example like this. We have 5 squared to the third power. Well, doesn't that mean the same as 5 squared times 5 squared times 5 squared, right? And the bases are like, so 2 plus 2 plus 2 would be 5 to the 6th power. See, some of you are just ready to go, oh, it's 5 to the 5th. No, you need to stop and think about what it is. When you have a power raised to a power, the exponent is going to be the product of the multiplication of the exponents, okay? So when you have a power raised to a power, it's 2 times 3, not 2 plus 3, okay? Because this means there's 3 of these guys. 1, 2, 3. All right. So how's it going to work on this one? Well, we need to raise 4 to the third power. We need to raise x to the third power. And we need y squared raised to the third power. So 4 cubed is 64. X cubed is x cubed. And y squared cubed is y squared times y squared times y squared, which is the same as y to the 6th, right? 2 times 3. And then there you go. How about on this one? Well, we're going to do 3 to the 4th. We're going to have x squared to the 4th. And then we're going to have y to the 5th raised to the 4th. Okay. So, this is easy because if you think about it, it's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Well, this is 9. That's 9. 9 times 9 is 81. This is 4x squared. Well, that would be x to the 8th. And this is 4y to the 5th. So that's going to be y to the 20th power. And there you go. Okay. See, when I'm doing a power raised to a power, I multiply. Now this one I'm going to do a little more succinctly. I'm not going to show as many steps. 6 squared is going to be 36. Y to the 5th squared is y to the 5th times y to the 5th. Excuse me, x to the 5th times x to the 5th, or x to the 10th. Y to the 1st raised to the 2nd is y to the 2nd. And z to the 12th squared is going to be 12 times 2, or 24. And there you go. Pretty simple stuff. Do lots of examples. This is a pretty easy video. All right. Now remember, I've talked about this with a lot of you. These two things here are not the same thing. You have to pay attention. On this one on the left, I'm going to do negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. Well, isn't that going to be positive 1? Because the negative is being raised to the 4th power along with the 1. But this one here, because of the order of operations, exponents comes before subtraction in the order of operations. So I have to raise 1 to the 4th and then make it negative. So I have my negative, and I have 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. So my answer there is negative 1. Notice they're not the same thing. Okay? These two, however, will end up being the same thing, because I'm going to take 5 negative 1s, and that's going to end up being negative 1. On this one, I'm going to take the negative of 1 to the 5th power, which is going to be negative 1. All right, I multiply 5 ones and then make it negative. On this one, the negative is being raised to the 5th power. Okay. So I've got negative y to the 4th power. So that's negative y times negative y times negative y times negative y. It's going to be y to the 4th power. It'll be a positive. On this one, I don't have parentheses, so the negative is not being raised to the power of 100. So I'm going to have a y to the 100, but then I'm going to make it negative. This one here, I've got a negative 3 to the 4th power. It's going to be negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. It's going to be a positive 81 and a y to the 4th. All right? We're going to get some practice with this today, the next day in class. It's not really that bad, but you need to stop and think about what you're doing. Don't just try to imitate everything you see. I mean, it's okay to imitate at first, but you've got to push yourself to stop and think why it's working. Remember that when a power is raised to a power, I multiply the exponents. 2 times 3 is 6. So, for example, if I had, say, 3x to the 7th raised to the 2nd power, well, that's going to be 9, because it's 3 squared, right? And it's going to be x to the 7th times 2. 7 times 2, x to the 14th. All right. Okay, that'll be it for today. I don't think I can drag this out any longer. Mr. Lawrence signing off. Good night, everybody.